Welcome to the Pointy End. I'm Keith Sutherland. Today my guest is Bendigo Wine Growers Association President, pardon me, Mr. Wes Vines. Welcome, Wes. Great to have you here.
Thanks, Keith. It's great to be here.
Now, this exciting announcement was had a couple of weeks ago where you're going to change venues and times, bringing back the Stratagem Winemakers Festival back to Bendigo in Roseland Park, the beautiful Roseland Park, on the 7th of May. Why the change?
Well, there are a number of reasons, and I think principally it's a recognition of the fact that Bendigo is a city of 110,000 people. It's got a huge critical mass, and to run a wine festival in an accessible park with great heritage and ambience in the centre of the city, I think is an opportunity that we just can't pass up. And it's available to us, and we've been supported by the City of Greater Bendigo. So we're very excited about the fact that we will be in this venue for this year.
Bring it to the 7th of May. Is that a better timing? I know the other one was at Easter, but the weather is a bit cooler then. And obviously red wine drinkers like myself would prefer to be drinking that in the winter months, not so much in the summer months. But is that a better date for you people? And how many wine growers are going to be represented on that particular day of the 7th of May?
Well, we expect about 22 members to be exhibiting wine on that day.
Is that the same amount as you've been having at Castlemaine?
Around about the same, yes.
Okay.
I think it'll be much the same. The reasons for changing the date, there are a few. You're right about the fact that hot weather and red wine are not a great partnership, and as Easter can come forward well into March, it can be just totally too hot. That's certainly one issue. The other is that if we're going to come to Bendigo, it had to be at some other time other than Easter, because, you know, with the number of people in the city for Easter, it would be very, very difficult, and particularly as on the Sunday we have the parade, which would make it very, very difficult to run it. So shifting it to the 7th of May, it'll always be the first Saturday in May, I think will give better access to a lot of people, because a lot of people are tied up with families and so on at Easter. They go away visiting people. And I think that we will see a very strong representation of Bendigo people, because more of them will be available.
The other thing about the timing on the 7th of May too being the Saturday, a day before Mother's Day, so surely that would be a wonderful Mother's Day present. What do you buy mums?
Yes.
And as a family you can go along and enjoy the ambience of Roseland Park, of course, and now with the wonderful attraction of Marilyn at the
it's phenomenal
showplace of Bendigo and Roseland Park. I just think it's sensational. So you've picked everything. It's a win-win for everyone.
And I think there's a further point that I could add to that, is that having the festival at Easter time is not a particularly good time for wineries, because we were usually full in the middle of vintage, and by the 7th of May, I think vintage will be well over and done with, particularly this year, because it'll be a bit earlier.
And Bendigo being the events capital, I keep saying this all the time. Terry Kay from Council, we have him on, and all the wonderful things that are happening. Why not have Easter? That's one festival. Now we've got this one, and the other one we had, which was a bit of a disaster last year, was the iconic Heritage Uncorked, but we couldn't have it because of the protests against the mosque, which was very sad, and that's lost a lot of money to Bendigo. So this helps to make up some of those shortfalls, I dare say.
And I think it's good to see, you know, the Bendigo Weekly, for example, giving us a huge support, you know, and advertising the fact that the festival will be on the 7th of May, and it's going to be relocated. And I think that support is as much to do with the fact that we were severely dealt with, I think, last year.
Yeah, no, it was
Heritage Uncorked.
The other good part about it is that with wine, it's very prominent in Bendigo, and we're rather surprised as how big it is and how many people are employed. The other one that's coming up is the regional World's Longest Lunch to be held in Roseland Park again on Friday the 4th of March, and I know that you've got a hand in that. I know that's not what we're talking about today, but that's probably worth mentioning at the same time as we're discussing the Stratagem one.
Yes. Well, it's the bookings are going very strongly at the moment. I've checked on them, up around 80 or 90, I think now, and we would hope that we end up with around about 140. But it's developing a life of its own. You know, for a start, it was you know, we had to get it back into the minds of people that it was being conducted here. And once again, in that park, on that pathway that we use, it's a great place to hold the event, and being in partnership with the Wine Bank, I think the degustation meal that they serve is quite amazing. They can do that out in the Roseland Park, 6 courses, 6 wines. What could be better?
Exactly. The other part about what I was surprised about was the number of people that came up from Melbourne. Lots of people sitting around me that have come up on the train and then catching the train back, being responsible. But that just brings more dollars into the town. I think it's fabulous.
Somewhere between 35 and 40% of the attendees come from out of town.
No, that's really good.
Yeah.
Now, going back to the event itself on the 7th of May, is it going to be any different than the way it was run at sort of Castlemaine? You had the wine tastings, you had music, you had a bit of dancing, which I involved myself in, of course.
Yes.
Is that going to be the same? And how do you police the Roseland Park? You're taking up the whole park, you're taking up a portion thereof, because it's a pretty big park to manage with fencing. I don't know how you do it, so just run that by me.
Well, in terms of what we're providing, we're going to increase the offering a little, in that we're going to offer master classes both with food and wine. So we hope to involve chefs in doing master classes, sometimes I suppose similar to what they do at the farmers market, where chef will come along and prepare a meal and talk about it and create discussion with the customers. So that's one further development that we think will take. We're certainly going to have the music. In terms of the area, it's not the whole of Roseland Park. It's going to be fenced with a people security fence. It's not a builder's fence. It's a fence that's about 1.2 metre, I think, high. And the intention is just to delineate where the area is that we're using, because we have to leave the major paths available for the general public to move through the park. So we're putting the fencing in as much to tell people that this is the area, and this is the area that you need to be in if you're going to be participating in the festival. There'll be wristbands and so on, same as Castlemaine, so that people can go out and come back in again. For argument's sake, some people might decide, well, want to go and have something to eat at one of the restaurants or cafes at lunchtime and then come back again. Or the toilets may be, if you go to the toilets, you go outside and you've got to come back in. So there's a sort of a pass-out system, if you like. But in terms of what's being offered on the day, it's between 11 and 4. The program is fairly similar, but we're going to try and increase the offering, and we're talking about further developments in that regard.
That sounds fabulous, because no disrespect to Castlemaine, but you're right, you can walk to the centre of Bendigo, whereas Castlemaine you didn't. You had a bit of the lake there, but I think Roseland Park is the equal, if not better, than most others.
The other aspect too is that there'll be people here just visiting Bendigo, and they'll see the advertising, and they'll think, oh, I might slip in there for 2 hours. We haven't had access to that sort of clientele previously, because people are coming more or less for the day, generally speaking, for the day. They like to get a table, like to get a chair or chairs, maybe have a bottle of wine on the table, and obviously food. We're going to have a wider range of food offerings than in the past.
And what about tables and chairs in the park itself?
Yes.
Is that going to be okay? Because I know with Castlemaine, what happened was you obviously, as myself, would catch the bus down there, and then you could bring your chairs and everything back, and it's a lot of lugging around. But are you going to provide a lot of that table and chairs?
We're
because
just
it's so much better.
Presently, we're through the hire service. We'll certainly be having, a huge number of chairs and tables and umbrellas if necessary.
Well, Wes, congratulations to yourself personally, to your committee, having the Stratagem Winemakers Festival back in Bendigo, in my opinion, the rightful place where it always should have been, but we understand the reasons why it did move in the first place. But I think it's a great thing. Another event for Bendigo. As I said, Bendigo is the events capital, always something happening, and Bendigo is really renowned as one of the major wine regions of Victoria, if not Australia. and that's through a lot of hard work from yourself and your hard-working committee. So congratulations on that.
Thanks, Keith, and we're very excited about it and looking forward to the 7th of May.
Yep, and good luck, and I'm sure the weather's going to be perfect, and a bit of red wine might be drunk by myself and a few others, I do say. But thank you for appearing on the Pointy End today.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you.